Hello everybody, it's Cheryl Cadzow and I'm finally back. My two sprained wrists have healed and they're almost as good as new. Probably will never be as good as new, but beside the fact. Now, I made this tutorial before I sprained my wrists. It's taken me this long to get around to putting it together. This tutorial. It started off with 7 circles. Looks a bit like a caterpillar when I started it. Wasn't sure where I was going, but I had a few ideas. The first part, I had no idea how to fill that big space, and I thought I would just fill it with vines because that's nice and easy and you don't have to think. Quite relaxing really. So I did the first part with all the vines, and then the next bit I did like tiny little springs, little curly vines like you get in the grapevine. And then when I got into the next one, I thought, yeah, I'm on a roll now. I know what I'm doing, and I will divide it up. It reminded me of a tennis ball. I made different sections, started to fill it in. Then the next little section is sort of like bubbles in water. Sometimes I get my ideas from medieval art. Then I moved on to the third circle. I've used this years ago, like little cane type marks with little bubbles all around it. It's another great filler. And then the next one, I saw this design on somebody's work with the little hearts or a leaf type thing. Then the next section I decided to break it up into sections, and it's sort of become a very textured like one because I've got almost like wood grains there, tight wood grains, loose wood grains. There's like a little road going through it, some brickwork, lots of little stones, and it took me a while to fill it up, but I filled it up and I'm starting to get hang of it now. So I moved on to the next one and I wanted to do something completely different. And I thought I'll do the little beads through the middle, and then I thought I would just echo the beads with like a ripple, and then on one side I wanted a dark texture, so I did the close lines, and that worked out really well. On the other side I continued the ripples, but I decided to put like a metallic type wedge, like a bit like armour. It's the edges of the metal with like pop rivets or screws along the edge, and I think that worked really well. I could see I could use that in something else. The little overlaps or transitions, I just pop all sorts of little things to fill in there. Sometimes I take a little bit from each side to make it a different pattern. Onto the sixth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, the sixth circle. I wanted to do a little paisley, so I just did one to see how it would go, and I think it worked okay with the little bubbles around it and some nice sharp sort of waves in there, just to get a balance between the softness of paisley swirls and the sharpness of that pattern. The next little transition, I started just doing little repeat patterns, and then the final circle, I was sort of running out of enthusiasm by then, but I filled it in and I thought, good, it's a different one, it's not the same as the others. But then I had a bit of a break and I came back to it, and I thought, gee, I might actually work outside the square or circles as it is here. So I started adding a little bit to it, sort of a floral theme, then some more vines, and I just started keeping on filling it in, extending that ring seemed to come natural outside that second circle, and it gave me a different idea of how to fill it in to give it just that little width of white and then continue out. And then the little dot, the little like cut line around circle, it made me think of when I use Photoshop and you've selected something and they call it the marching ants. So that gave me the idea to do little marching ants around the side and some little twirly vines. And it just kept evolving. Then I started doing these big vines that ended up looking like psychedelic snakes. I was trying to give them a bit of a 3D look by giving them a bit of shading. And then I just kept going with those little vines and twigs and flowers and leaves and zigzags and dots, and it just kept growing until finally I felt that it was complete, and I've been really happy with it, but I just haven't had the time to do it. I am so pleased that I finally got this one done. I'm very happy with it. I scanned it and dropped some colour into it in Photoshop just to try some different things, and I think it's a really good design, and it's a good one, I think, to have almost like a sampler too, because there's so many varieties of patterns in there that I'm really pleased with that, because I can go back and take some of those things out that I haven't done before. On another note, I would really like to thank my subscribers, because I've hit over 200 subscribers. I never ever thought that I would get that many people following me. I love doing the doodle art. I find it very relaxing, and I hope you are too, because I really enjoy it, and I enjoy doing them and talking about it to you. If you have any ideas or queries, just pop a comment below. I would love to hear how you're going. Are you having trouble with ideas or shapes? I can easily email you any of my little samplers that I've got, or I can just do a screen capture of the finished product, or I've scanned most of them anyway, and I don't mind emailing them out to you. You just have to contact me below. There's a email, pepiandfriends@hotmail.com. It's written down below. Don't laugh, that's from another little project that I was doing on my other channel. Anyway, thank you very much for subscribing. Thanks for waiting for me to get over my sprained wrists. Fingers crossed I'm not going to have any more accidents for the rest of the year, because I've been very busy with making short films with my film group. Anyway, that's another subject. Thank you very much for supporting me. I hope you enjoy this one. Let me know what you think. And just, if you've got a channel of your own, scan some of your work and put it up, video what you've done on it. I'd love to see it. And I'm also thinking down the track that I might make a small book of sample doodles. If anybody's interested in that, I still have to work out how to produce it and sell it and things like that. But that's something, let me know if you think that's a good idea. Thank you very much. Please comment. I'd love to hear your ideas, what you've been doing. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And thank you very much for following me. I am really enjoying it. Bye.